Okay, so welcome everybody to Writing Your Way into a Story. Welcome to everybody who's turned up this morning and everybody watching online later. So I'm Edwina, and let's just get right into it. Make sure you have a pen and paper, and we are going to be doing some free writing. Okay, maybe everybody mute unless you want to ask me a question. If you want to ask me a question, you can either put something in the chat box or in the little reactions tab along the bottom. Just click on there and you can put up your hand or unmute yourself and call out to me. That might be the best. Okay, so today we are going to be doing lots of writing. So grab yourself a pen and a piece of paper or your tablet, you can write on that. So we're going to be doing free writing. We're going to be creating a piece, hello Jackie, of writing, of flash fiction from the beginning to the end. So to do that, we will first do a deep relaxation. For those of you who know me already, you'll be very used to that. For those of you who I haven't met in person before doing a workshop, this is just a relaxation of the body. We get rid of the critical voice, and then we create a safe playground for us. Some of the people here are very used to just mucking around with words and having fun. Others are newbies. So this is just a great technique that I found very, very useful for myself as a yogi of many decades now. Okay, so we'll be writing a piece of flash fiction. We'll be writing in scenes. So a lot of new writers find the transition from telling to writing in actual scenes a bit tricky. So we'll be doing that. So when we're writing, you can work on something, a work in progress, or you can be working on what you are doing. So I don't know why it's showing Jackie. Anyway, can you all see me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. So, and then at the end, I'll be doing some hints and tips, give you some basic story structures for writing short pieces, and then we'll just have a Q&A session. But first, let's just do our relaxation. So feet on the floor, getting comfy, and letting go of all the busy mind, all of the excitement. I'm a bit overexcited of coming together this morning, and letting all of that just float off the top of your mind and bringing your attention to your breath. So feeling the breath moving in the body. Feeling the breath coming in through the nostrils, cool. And then as you breathe out, noticing how it's been warmed by the body. Feeling the breath in the nostrils, breathing in and breathing out. Warm. One more breath in through the nose and breathing out. Warm. Next breath, breathing into your head, and imagine that you can blow your head up like a big balloon. And exhaling, letting that balloon squash back down, breathing in and breathing out. Feeling the breath filling up the whole brain space. Then putting your hands on your ribs, the sides of your ribs, and feeling the breath expanding into the chest, breathing down into the chest. Feeling the back ribs pressing against the back of the chair and exhaling down. Breathing in and out. Feeling the expansion of your ribs as you breathe in. And exhaling. Feeling as they contract. Hands on the tummy now, breathing into the belly. Breathing in, big balloon bellies, exhaling. Breathing in, big balloon bellies. And exhaling down. Last big breath, right down to the bottom of your undies. And exhaling down. Letting the mind ride your breath. And just softening from the top of your head, over your scalp, over your face, letting your jaw hang soft and floppy. Can I just ask that everybody mute themselves? So we're just, for the people who have just entered, we're doing a deep relaxation. So just joining in, feeling the breath in the body. And softening down over the face, jaw soft. Softening the throat and all the little muscles at the back of the neck melting like butter on a hot day. Melting down into the tops of your shoulders and down through your arms, all the way to your fingertips. Softening through the front of the chest, through the heart and lungs, back ribs, shoulder blades drifting apart. Any darkness or difficult emotions held tight in the chest, just falling away from the body now. Softening through the tummy, the mid and lower back, around and around the hip joints, from the hips to the knees, knees to the ankles, top of the feet, top of the toes, underside of the toes and the soles of the feet, whole body softening and relaxing. Melting, relaxing, letting go. Seeing if you can feel your whole body at the same time from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. Then I want you to go inside your brain and I want you to find where that critical voice lives, that inner critic, the one that tells us we're just a beginner, what are we doing here? There are people who have published books. You know, who am I fooling? That ugly voice, that horrible mean voice that tells us our bum is too big or our nose is too small, or my God, where did all those wrinkles come from? That voice. And I want you to find where it lives in your brain or in your mind. So for me, I feel it with weight. You might hear it. You might already have a strong visual of it. Some people smell it. It smells bad, smells rotten. So see if you can find where it lives. And then if you haven't already got a face for it, I want you to give it a face. So it might be that nasty nun from grade 3 who hit you with the meter ruler. It might be another teacher or somebody else who's really been critical of your creative work. So it might be somebody later in your life or somebody in your family, or it might just be a monster, a nasty, horrible, you know, tooth gnashing dragon or something, or an emoji with sharp pointy teeth. My friend Catherine had this very nasty mutant ninja turtle, but it was evil. So however you can imagine it, once we give it a face, we have power over it. So once you've got it, let's go in with our imaginary tools. So anything from a tweezer to heavy duty mining equipment, whatever you need to get that inner critic out. So let's go in, scoop it up and out. If any of it fits on your shoulder, drop it there. If it's too big, you might just get a bit of it, but then drop it to the floor. And I want you to roll it over to the nearest outside door, squish it flat, and then roll it all the way to the nearest body of water. Plop, 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 plop. In they go, and off they go, floating out to sea. Hopefully they'll take a while to come back. So now in the space where the critic lived, I want you to imagine a bright color, Whatever bright color first pops into your mind is the right one for you today. I want you to see that bright, beautiful light filling up the whole of your brain, the whole of your head space. Let it shine out through the top of your head and through your ears. Let that beautiful light flow down through your neck, through your shoulders, down through your arms, letting it shine out through your fingertips and the palms of your hands. Let that light shine through, down your whole body, lighting up all your organs, down through your legs, shining out through your toes and the soles of your feet. Let your light shine so brightly, that beautiful color fills your whole being, that it shines so bright that it shines through the skin as the body becomes more and more transparent. Shine that beautiful color through your whole room, out through the walls and the ceiling, into the ground and out through the sky. We can all join together up there somewhere in the ether, a beautiful rainbow of all of us creative souls together. And I want you to bring your color back around yourself and create a great big, what I call the cone of creative freedom, or the playroom. So let's create a playroom around yourself that's like the cone of silence, except it goes all the way around. Cone of silence from Get Smart, or Mork from Ork's Egg, or some other modern reference that young people understand. A great big egg around yourself. So getting that egg all around yourself. And this is where we're just free to play and muck around and enjoy ourselves creating. So in this beautiful, colorful egg, you can put as many colors as you like. And if you're feeling a bit vulnerable today, put a mirror on the outside, a mirrored shield. Only good can come in there. Now, I want you to imagine that you're looking through a telescope or through a crystal ball, or that you're flying above the whole world. And what we're looking for is a setting, a place where a story might take place. So if you have a project already going on, or one that you're keen to work on today, then finding a dwelling place from that story. Otherwise, just find somebody's home. So it may be a palace, maybe you've been watching The Crown and you're all into princesses, so maybe it's some royal palace somewhere beautiful, maybe it's on another planet, maybe it's a slum somewhere by the banks of a big dirty river, maybe it's in the forest and people are living wild, maybe you've gone back in time to some historical time, maybe you're on a ship, maybe you're in an igloo. You can go anywhere. So wherever you go, I want you to zero in on a place. I want you to lift the roof, or if it's an apartment, you can lift the front. And I want you to find the dwelling place, the bedroom, or it might be all one room of this place. And I want you to look very carefully. As writers, we're always looking for specific, unexpected, telling details. So what's the general feeling of this place? Where are you? We're going to be writing a description of this place using all 5 senses. So what can you see? What can you see? What are the colors? What are the shapes? What items in this room or place give you clues to who lives there? Are there paintings with golden frames on the wall? Or is there some newspaper tacked up to keep out the cold? Are there family photographs? Which family photographs? Be specific, looking for clues as to who this person is, or creature. It can be a creature as well. What can you hear? Is there music playing? Are there sounds of the outside. Maybe you're in nature. Are there birds? Or are you on a ship and there are waves lapping against the sides of the ship? What can you hear? Maybe there are people talking already. What can you smell? Smell is the most important of the senses to include, besides what we can hear and see. It's a very visceral sense to include in our writing as the first sense that forms when we're in our mother's wombs. What does this room smell like? What does it feel like? Is the carpet soft under your feet, or is it a hard-packed earthen floor? Is there mess everywhere that's getting under your feet? Is the bed soft? Is the bed hard? Is there no bed at all? Is there a feeling in the air? What's the general mood of this place? And if you can try and add taste. Taste is the most difficult sense to put in, but every place has a taste, even in the air. Each different city has its own flavor. So, and of course we can give emotions flavor as well. So using all of those 5 senses, we're going to come back now. So bringing yourself back to your room, on your chair, at the online workshop, big breaths into the chest. Another big breath. Starting to wriggle fingers and toes, opening your eyes. And everybody coming back. Now, picking up your pen, we are free writing. Whatever you like, I'm putting the timer on for 5 minutes. We're just going to write like the wind and get whatever you can down on the page from that scene you saw, this bedroom. We're looking for those specific sensory details. So even if you just write 1 sentence for each of those describing the room. Are you ready? Get set and go. Okay, so if you're on a roll, you can just keep doing dot points or something. But how did you go? Is it all right? Did you get something done? Yes, okay, good. Let's keep going while we've still got that place in our minds, okay? So just going back into that kind of play, the playroom, the creative playroom. And I want you to be back in that room again. And I want you to see the person who lives there coming back. So this is the character in our story. So have that character enter the room. Can you see them? And they are preparing to go somewhere. So this is my before and after story method. We're showing them getting ready to go somewhere now. And then later we'll write them coming back. So all the middle of the story will be missing, but we've got this beginning. So by what they are doing and what they are wearing and how they are acting, because characters must act, we will be able to figure out what's going on for this character. So they've come in and they are preparing to go somewhere. It might be a harried mother getting ready to go and pick up the kids from school and then take them to swimming and all the other activities. It might be somebody much more dastardly who's packing a whole big set of knives that they're putting in their belts. It might be somebody, it might be the captain of that ship coming in and writing in the log about they're about to set foot on Hawaii. Maybe it's Captain Cook and it's his last day. So they are preparing. So get a good look at your character too. So again, we're looking for those specific, unexpected telling details. Okay, so give us a bit of physical description, a line or two of physical description of this person, but not just a tall person with brown hair, but something that gives us a clue to who they are. So it might be as they are getting dressed, you can show us who they are by the outfit that they are choosing, by what they are doing. Maybe they are interacting with something that you have already put in the setting that you weren't quite sure why it was there. So finding that place and that person who belongs to the place, showing them getting ready. Maybe it's somebody getting ready to go on their first date. Maybe they've just got out of prison and they're off to see their old friends, but they're not going to do anything wrong. Okay. So remembering that your character must act. So when we bring a character in, they are in action. Okay, I'm going to put the timer on again. Another 5-minute writing burst. Show me this character getting ready to go somewhere. Okay, ready, steady, timer on. Put your timer on at home and off we go. Okay. So, were you surprised by what's come up? How did you go? I'd like to put you in breakout rooms now. So that's where you can go in to small groups. I'll just make it of 3 because I think that sharing your writing is a very important part of the process. So we all know these are just first drafts. But you can have a try at just sharing it with people in a small group. So you don't have to read it out. You can just talk about what happened for you, how it worked, who you saw, and then we'll come back. So I'll just put you. Good. That's good, Sally Ann. Yes. All right. So let's put you in breakout rooms. And you can just talk about how it went. And then if somebody's feeling very brave afterwards, you can share it with the group. But nobody can see you in the breakout rooms. So everybody, except for the other 2 people there. So be brave. Should I do my put your hands on your hips? Put your hands on your hips and make yourself feel brave. That's it. We are strong. We are brave. We are invincible. That's the power pose from Dr. Cuddy. So yes. It can be very, very nerve-wracking sharing your writing if you haven't done so before, but just be brave. It's a very lovely, welcoming, warm group here. And yes, when we are listening to somebody's first draft, we are looking for what's good about it. Okay, that's it, full stop. What do we like about it? What's good about the idea? This is first draft, okay? So, yes, unmute when you're in your breakout rooms. Yeah, thank you. All right, let's see how these work. Now we've got 21. So I'll put you in 7 groups and let's see. So you should be able to see something come up now and you just join your little group. Okay.
Okay.
I'll just put you in there for 5. Oh, we all one group now. Lexi, are we in one group? I think this is our group. Sue, Rosemary? Okay, we're going to coming back to the room now, coming back to the session. So hopefully at home you've been able to find somebody to read your fabulous new story to. Okay, they're all coming back, I hope. I hope they're coming back. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
We've gone.
Boom, 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 boom. Boy, that was that was exciting, everybody. How did you go? Was that long enough?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
And how did it feel, newbies, to share your work? Okay.
Rosemary and I were right in the middle of something.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
I'll give you another chance to go back into the same group.
okay.
Can I just point out that the breakout rooms do not have captions. Only this year. Just FYI, because most people don't know that. But I
Yes.
did okay.
Oh, that's good, Sarah. Yeah, I'm sorry. So how are you going too, Kim? Can you see the closed captions?
Well, it keeps coming up, closed captions are enabled, but then it just says recording on, so I can't see it. I was trying to turn them on before as well.
How
So
did
have you gone into the 3 dots where it says more?
Oh, great.
Oh, show caption. Yep.
There you
Yep,
go.
you got
Kim.
it?
Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, so let's keep moving on because I just saw the time anyway, and I've got so much that I want to cover, but anyway, we'll see how we go. So let's now, so hopefully you've got your person out the door or almost out the door. So now we're going to write them coming back. Okay, so they
Sorry, Edwina, I've got to go. I'm so sorry. I've got to go to my writers group, but I'll listen to the recording. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody.
You can always write the end later.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye. Okay, so now we're going to write when they come back. It can be just a few minutes later. It could be a couple of hours. Maybe she's come back from her date and she's got a fabulous new boyfriend on her arm, or, you know, maybe somebody's gone out and those knives are now bloody that they pulled from their belts. Maybe it isn't Captain Cook that returns to his cabin at all, but a harried sailor who's come to get bandages and the first aid kit or something. So let's close our eyes again. Going back, it can be even centuries later. It may be that a dad went out to get milk and never came home again. Something like that. So whatever you like, going back into your room and your character. And now we're writing the ending of the story. So showing your character returning. They can be alone or they can be with somebody. It can be somebody else. So what can you see? What are they doing? The character must act. So what are they doing? How has their appearance changed? Can you tell by the way their clothing now looks what's been going on? What clues can we get from their appearance as to what's gone on? What clues do we get by maybe they're carrying something, maybe they've brought something back with them. If there's another person, of course, or an animal or something else, they can also be talking. So remembering to try and getting that dialogue in there. So what are they doing when they return? From a short time, from a long time? What clues do we get from their appearance? How has their emotion changed? How has this character changed? Showing us by their actions. Okay, timer is going back on. And off we go. People at home, getting writing. Welcome back. So is anyone brave enough to share their story with us? Or will I put you in your breakup rooms to do it?
Do we need to read out the story or just tell what
You
it's
can
about?
just tell us, Indrani. Do you want to tell us?
Yes, this was a rather extraordinary experience I had when I was traveling in India, and we were looking at some of the places where all the old Europeans had their establishments, and we came up outside the Dutch cemetery and wandered in, and there was the biggest one actually had a hollow which looked like a room, and we could smell incense and we could see clothes. So we wandered in, and there was a man sleeping there. He got up and he said he was the caretaker. And I said, why are you sleeping here? Aren't you afraid of ghosts? And he said, no, it's the living that create more problems. That was the real thing, but I'm building on that to create a story. And of course, we could feel the roughness of the headstone, smell the incense. I couldn't get the taste bit, but we could see all these, relics of past empires.
Yes. And did you have him going out and then coming back?
Yes, he suddenly rushed out and came back with a plate of food and some tea.
Now you can get tasted.
His wife refused to come. She said this is an evil place, but his daughter and dog used to come every day because he's allowed to sleep there but not cook there.
Okay. Yes. It's a fascinating place to live.
Yeah, I've actually got a photo of him sleeping. He didn't mind us taking the photo, so I do have proof that, but then the rest of it is made up.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great character to write about. Yeah. Well done. Thanks, Indrani. Anybody else want to have a turn?
I've Hi, Edwina. I've worked a little bit on my epilogue, so I've gone.
Good.
Yes. Do you want me to read a little bit?
Yes, I'd love you to.
Yeah, you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Right. Many of the girls back in the 80s suggested I write a book. I resisted the urge every time. I finally realized that once my father died, the writing assisted in my healing journey. Though it became an emotional roller coaster, as each day I wrote, many memories surfaced and the tears flowed. Prioritizing my writing time became a challenge in the early stages due to my tumultuous childhood. But here was my chance to tell my version of events, the true version. I only wished I had written sooner, but sharing was scary. Anyone who suffered abuse as a youngster knows the pain of being judged a liar. The first time I told anyone my story shocked me to hear the words spilling from my mouth. I learnt to never regret or apologize for other people's faults, but the efforts of anger added a fuel to the fire. I believed I didn't deserve love or attention due to my shame and the criticism I had endured. I was tarnished. That was the price I had to pay. I carried the burden of my mother's betrayal throughout my life, paying for her mistakes. I had a biological father, but I never had a dad. Do I have any regrets? Too many to mention. Thank you.
Well done, darling.
Thank you, Edwina.
Glad you're back on it. Yeah. Yes, lovely. Anybody else want to have one last little? Yeah, go, Lisa. Okay.
Okay, so I'll just read the first part. I think not all of it. It's a bit long, but anyway, we'll see how we go.
Oh boy, you're a fast writer.
This is set in India when we went traveling there with my family. The air tastes like spices, leftovers lingering in the midnight darkness from tea time. It's silent in the streets except for the ad hoc grunt of mating pigs. The room is solid, but the walls are cool with broken stone coming away from the corners. The curtain hangs over the window covering, filtering out the moonlight. It's a sari of multicolours, used as a carrier. I dream in sari. The floor is bare except for a round mat to step on when getting out of bed. A locally made craft sold at the market. There are hundreds of them for sale alongside the saris. Every apartment in this building must have at least one of them. I feel free here. There are no expectations, just living in the moment, day by day, night by night. The routine of rural Indian life is a simple yet beautiful one. But I'm sitting here with Steve and I didn't finish that bit. So, yeah.
Okay. Yes. What great. You used really great, specific, unexpected details. Weren't the grunting of the pigs? That was great. Yes.
Thanks.
Well done.
Thank you.
Okay. So I want to, we're almost out of time. So I want to just show you a couple of simple story structures that you can use. So that's the before and after method. So I hope that you've ended up with a story that you can now fiddle around with and tidy. You can write the middle if you want, but you can see if you've got the ending, sometimes you don't need the middle. So that's a takeaway tip. So a couple of takeaway tips is write in scenes, use your 5 senses for those specific telling and unexpected details. Yeah, that unexpected is a great word to put into those specific telling details. And that if you start writing, try and have at least the ending of the story in your mind, because then you have somewhere to aim for. You'll go off on multiple tangents along the way, but if you can see your ending, you just keep realigning yourself towards that ending. Okay, I just want to share my screen now. Where's the share screen? Where is the share screen?
Should be at the top.
It's the green one. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Okay. Here are some simple plot structures. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay. So the C method, the C word method. So, and if you look on my website too, you'll find bit longer explanations of these things.
Oh, okay.
So maybe I'll send you a list of all of the websites that I thought I would get to, the blog posts that I'd get to show you. But the C word method is you start always with a character. Stories spring from character. And this character has to have a cause, a curse, or a calling. So that's their goal, is something that's really intrinsic to who they are as a person. So when you're thinking about a memoir, you, of course, are the main character. And your cause or your curse or your calling, they can all be the same thing. Your curse may become your calling. So that's where your goal comes from. The story goal is the character's goal, unless it's, you're writing a spy thriller or something, then it might be just, save the world from the evil Russians or whoever is evil at the time. And the most important thing that a character must do is act. Yes. Don't make the mistake that I did with one of my novels where the character was just reacting. You must have that character make decisions and take action themselves. Okay, and then we have climbing conflict. The problems keep getting worse. You start with a little pebble in your shoe, then it becomes a big stone, then it becomes a huge rock, and then it's a boulder they have to climb over. And the biggest boulder of all is the climax. The climax is intrinsically linked to this character's cause, curse, or calling. Okay, so for example, if we use Jackie's example there, that her character is a child who was abused, which is the curse, and the calling is to heal that curse, then the climax is that healing that occurs, either a confrontation or the inability to not confront the person, the abuser, but finding the peace, the answer, or it's the battle. So if it was a character whose goal was to, let's say it's a mother who gave up her child for adoption and they are searching for that child, the climax is when they finally find that child and reconnect with them. Yeah. And then here is a very handy method that I love. And if you look, especially for short fiction, actually for almost every piece, this ABDCE method works. So you start with a hook. You set up your question and keep asking new ones, but you have that original question that is set up in your hook that drives the whole thing, and that question or quest comes from your character. So this method is A, start with action. Show your character in action. So in Indrani's story, she's got the old man, I don't know if he's old, but the man sleeping in the graveyard, and he is acting and he is interacting. So dialogue is an action as well, but show us who your characters are by what they do. And an interesting contrast is they can tell us one thing, but then show us by their actions the other. You know, oh, I'm a very generous, compassionate person. And then they go outside and walk straight past the homeless person and look the other way. Or give them a kick if you want to be a bit nasty. B for background. So you start with action, then you can have your little bit of background. But remember, be careful with backstory. Don't give us huge, big chunks. You can weave it through gradually. And then we have the development, that's the D. So this is, again, the climbing conflict. And also it's decisions, okay? D is the development is based on decisions that the character makes. Usually they make decisions like a plan A, and it seems like a sensible idea, but it actually makes things worse, okay? So the character makes a decision, takes action, and then has to deal with the consequences of that decision. Okay, then we have our climax again, and E for ending. Yeah. Now, here's the big secret. Suspense equals hope plus fear. There's a whole blog post about that on my website. And the suspense comes from your character's goal, their quest or question. So, for example, let's use the story of a woman whose child was adopted out. So the character's goal is to find and reunite with the child she gave up for adoption. Our hope is that, yes, she will find this child and they will reconnect and their hearts will both be healed. Our fear is that they won't ever meet, and that maybe they will meet, but she will be rejected, or she will find the child, but then the child will reject her. So in each chapter, in each scene, we are moving between, she's getting closer towards her goal. Oh, we've got a good clue there that she's going to find them. Or the fear, no, oh, it looks like things are going bad. And you've just got to have a look, and this is a good one for when you're reviewing your whole story as well. Have you gone too far into hope? Is it all too rosy for too long? Or have you gone too far into the fear? Because we want those to alternate. Yeah? Let me see. Okay. Oh, let me see. I'll stop that share and then I'll show you one of my others. Here it is. So this is my website. This is how to write a scene in 6 easy steps. There's also, if you just type into, if you have a look in the search button here, if you put in plot or you put in suspense or you put in scenes, then you will get a whole list of other similar poses. But for those of you who are just starting out, this basics of how to do it, and then you'll see there are other related posts down the bottom. So you can have a good explore there and find lots and lots of information to help you. Okay. All right, let's do questions. Has anybody got any questions? Kimmy, is that you with your hand up or are you just fiddling?
Oh, fiddling, sorry.
Edwina, I just had one question about dialogue, because sometimes if I'm in a non-English speaking background setting, like I was in India, the guy was actually talking to me in Bengali. I could answer back.
Yes.
But I don't want to put so much Bengali that the English speaking people can't understand what I'm talking about. So how do you just put in a few words? And
so, yeah, what I did, because one of my novels that, well, it's, autobiographical fiction novel, that I'm hoping one day will see the light of day, is set in Cambodia. So I used, and Khmer language, I don't have the keyboard for it either. So I just wrote in my own phonetics and then wrote in English. So you write that in italics, and then just next to their speech, you can put the translation as well. But yeah, you can't have it too much, of course. And it's the same with idiomatic speech as well. The novel I'm working on, or I think I'm calling it, what am I calling it? Literary True Crime, my Dear Madman novel. The murderer's voice is dropping all the G's and has his own, he says me instead of my, and so on, like that. But it's that delicate balance, because sometimes, I mean, if you've ever tried to read Train Spotting, you'll see it can be very, very hard to understand it, to read it. So yeah, it's finding that balance. You can start him in Bengali and then write the rest in English, or just throw in words here and there so we get the idea that he's still speaking in Bengali.
Yeah, and I had my husband who speaks Dutch and German, but not Bengali. So English was, we were translating what.
Yeah, so you can then have your
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, great. Thanks, Indrani. Good question. Anybody else want to have a turn?
Actually, Edwina, I'd just like to say thank you very much. I've thoroughly enjoyed this, and I will be going onto your website, but I have to go.
That's okay. I know it's 11:30 now, so we can finish up if you like. Will we just say goodbye?
Yeah, just a comment. I just thought the morning was wonderful, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. It's my pleasure. And I want to just tell you too, I'm very excited because yesterday I talked to my friend Kirsten, who I do the Let's Talk Writing with, and we're going to have a retreat in Bali next year.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I don't know how expensive it's going to be. Kirsten's retreats are much more expensive than mine, but yeah, I'm just so excited about that. And I have got an online course coming up that I have made as an affordable as I can, and you would be my first, and if you have trouble paying, just send me an email. Has everybody got my email address?
Yeah. What's the online course about?
So it's a crash course in creative writing. So I'm covering all the basics of what I've been teaching at UQ basically for the last however long it's been now, over 10 years. So it covers characterization, setting, point of view, plot. We'll be doing a lot on plot, editing, self-editing. It's a 6-week course. Yeah, but I'll put it. Yeah.
Question. I'm great at describing, at all the description stuff,
no.
but I'm really bad at dialogue. I find that's where my imagination sort of, lacks. Do you have ideas to sort of, tips to get ideas for dialogue?
Yes. So my number one tip, and this is how I work mainly, is when you are doing a character, sit down and write a monologue in their voice. So you can do it as an interview, but get them talking about a scar from their past that's in their own voice. Once you have their voice, you can just take bits of what they're saying to you, but you should start to get hearing their voice, because that's the trick, is having the characters talking without you having to think what they're going to say. And if you do that monologue, for me, that works the trick if you're having trouble getting dialogue. Has anybody else got any tips for doing dialogue? Write big. Whatever you're doing, do the first draft, write big. Then you can winnow it down. Okay, the first draft of anything is we are creating the rock that we chip away at to make our beautiful sculpture from. So write big dialogue. They can write whole paragraphs if you like, and then you trim it right back down. Okay, good question, Sarah. Okay, one more, Rosemary, you got one?
Yeah, I was thinking about how I've got to write the script, because I kind of got told off really that I delivered the manuscript in the wrong format and should be in Times New Roman, blah, 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 and everything. I felt totally dashed by that encounter. And also I feel like experimenting with how to put quotation marks or not quotation marks, paragraph and everything. So, you know, as it gets closer to, you know, someday publication, there'll all be questions. I think, oh, can I write like this and present it like this, or do I have to present it in this strict format or whatever?
Well,
anyway.
when we do submit creative writing, there are very strict rules, and it is Times New Roman 12-point font. And if I submitted a screenplay that wasn't in proper screenplay formatting, no one will read it. But dialogue punctuation is very flexible. Yeah. As long as you can tell who is who, that's all that matters. Yeah. All right, we better go. But
thank you.
Thank you, Rosemary. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I'm so glad to see you. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Edwina.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Now.